Welcome to cageworks.net's submission for the Apps for Development Challenge Post World Bank competition. My name is Samson Courage, and I have developed the World Bank datasuite, which is a mobile widget for Nokia Series 60 3rd and 5th edition mobile devices. As we speak, we are also making developments for the BlackBerry and Android mobile platforms, but for the sake of timely submission, we are submitting the mobile widget for the Symbian platform. World Bank datasuite is a mobile application developed at cageworks.net by Samson Courage, that is me. It allows its user to access the data bank application programming interface at http://data.worldbank.com and receive country data and indicator data based on any World Bank indicators for any country, as well as compare indicator data between any two countries. World Bank datasuite is submitted at World Bank's Challenge Post competition by Samson Courage. Okay. At the core of this mobile widget are the country data and the indicator data. By default, World Bank datasuite loads country data for Nigeria, which is my country, and indicator data comparing GDP per capita current US dollars between Switzerland and Nigeria from date 2009 to 2008. To view the data for the various dates, we simply click on the table data and watch the value change, including the heading as well, depicting the correct value for that particular data. Now what this says here is that GDP per capita in current US dollars for Switzerland in the year 2008 was 65,699. Decimal is 0, so we could ignore these digits after the decimal point. And viewing the same thing for Nigeria in 2008, we simply hit the table data button, and what it tells us is that GDP per capita in current US dollars for Nigeria in 2008 was 1,369. Decimal is 0, so we ignore the digits after the decimal point. And this is the core of World Bank datasuite. We can also view country data, in which case we see here that Nigeria's country data is displayed, the ISO code, the longitude, latitude, capital Abuja, which is my location, region, admin region, income level, as well as lending type. In addition to these data, World Bank datasuites help raise awareness of the current MDG progress going on across the globe by providing regional news for each of the 6 regions available at the RSS site of the World Bank. We have regional news for Africa, Middle East and North Africa, for Europe and Central Asia, for Latin America and the Caribbean, for East Asia and the Pacific, as well as for Southern Asia. By default, Africa is loaded, and what we do here is to display headlines of current developments in these various regions. We have an app codes panel which is open by default, and in the app codes panel we have 2 tabs, the countries and the indicator tabs. These 2 tabs specify the codes which the application can be configured with to retrieve data from the data bank. And here we have the 3-digit ISO codes for each of the countries, from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe, And we also have indicator codes from agricultural machinery, tractors, to intentional homicide rate per 100,000 people, World Health Organization. Now all we need to do to retrieve data is to take the corresponding codes and fill them in our configuration setting to retrieve the data. A little demonstration would suffice. We access the options menu and click the configure link, and here we have settings. Like I said, by default it loads Nigeria and Switzerland and displays the GDP per capita in current US dollars. So what we'll do here is to get GDP per capita in current US dollars for Andorra, whose country code is ADO, and Angola, whose country code is AGO, and we could specify the years to begin from 2000. Now the language settings, we could leave it at English, or we could also specify 3 other languages, but by default it's English. And we could also specify other settings for high frequency data, such as gap fill, which defaults to yes in this case, most recent value, which defaults to 10, and fetch frequency, which defaults to yearly. And we say OK. Now with this configuration done, we get our data by hitting our refresh option. Now World Bank datasuite goes ahead to pull the data from the data bank of the World Bank and then display it in the relevant tabs. In this case, we would be having Andorra here because it's the country in the country settings tab, and here we have the ISO code, the longitude, latitude, capital, region, admin region, income level, and lending type. And we also have our indicator data, GDP per capita in current US dollars for Andorra 2009 all the way down to 2000 for each of the countries. So to view the data, we simply click on the table data and it changes. So like for example, we have GDP per capita in current US dollars for Andorra in the year 2006 was 35,344. Decimal is 0, so we ignore the digits after the decimal. And checking GDP per capita in current US dollars for Angola in the year 2001, simply click table data and there we have it, $607. Decimal is 0, so we ignore the digits after the decimal point. And that's the functionality of World Bank datasuite. The World Bank datasuite is also available on Facebook as an app, and it can be accessed either at apps.facebook.com/worldbank_datasuite or by simply joining the Global MDG Initiative Supporters group or fan page, where I am the administrator, and using the World Bank datasuite application there by simply clicking the WBDS tab. The same functionality is available on the mobile version, is available on the web version. And like I had mentioned earlier, development is currently in progress for BlackBerry and Android devices, and we may also be looking at porting it to the iPhone as well as for any MIDP 2.0 enabled device. So far we have it readily available for Nokia Series 60 3rd and 5th edition mobile devices. Thank you so much for your time.